Within the following exercises, I would like to discuss the impact which different kind of computers have had on digital transformation. We are going through all the epochs which had to be discussed in the lecture and check how much is the influence, for example, on business, on a small company or a bigger company, on the behavior, on the processes, etc. Let's start with the mainframes. So just suppose we do have an old-fashioned company in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're have this process of invoicing. So what they are doing is they prepare an invoice for a service or a product they have done or given to another company. They send this invoice. Of course, in an old-fashioned company, you put it into an envelope, send it to the post deliver it to the other company. This company receives the invoice. They check if everything is fine, if they have got the product and or the service, and we assume everything is fine, and then they do the payment. And again, the payment is not done by telebanking. This doesn't exist in this time. Somebody has to go to the bank and force the transaction. At the same time, the invoice has been stored in a status, has been sent, and we are waiting for the payment. Once in a while, the payment shows up. In the bank account, you see, for example, $1,000 have been paid, 1,000 euros have been paid. You can compare now the invoice number with the stored invoice number. You can control if really the complete amount of payment has been done. Again, we assume everything is fine. We change status to paid and store the complete process, maybe for taxes, maybe for controlling, maybe for other purposes. So now assume company A will have a mainframe. How does this mainframe help? In the end, not too much. You can maybe support individual steps, maybe, for example, preparing the invoice, even though a mainframe would be far too big for this kind of task. But even if it would go this way, we would only prepare the invoice, we still have to print it out, and the rest is basically the same and will completely run manually. So the time or the effort you will get rid of is only very minimal. And basically the same is here when we come to this period, this epoch of PCs. Again, we're talking about standalone PCs. They are not connected to anything. And the only thing what you can do is right now prepare the invoice using a PC. You can type it there, you can print it out later on, but after that you have to take the print out, you have to put it into an envelope, you have to store a copy in your binders, and so on. The rest is all done manually. Maybe you will have once again a little step forward. For example, you can prepare templates of your invoices, so you do not have to type in all the time. Maybe you do have a small database with all the customer information, so you just can select a certain customer and then the address, etc. is filled out. Similar things you have done either in Excel or in Word in your practical course. But still, the main process is unchanged and most of the things are still to be done individually. And even if you have a client-server architecture, most of the things will be unchanged. Yeah, you can maybe prepare things, you can do a printout. Maybe if you have a big office with for invoicing, then all the invoices will be printed out on a central device and there is one person to place all the invoices in envelopes. You can maybe store the invoices within a database in a file server. But later on, you still have to manually send the invoice, put it into an envelope and send it by post to the other company. You have to manually check your transactions and check if these have been done correctly. And the storage might finally be done in a database as well. So again, yes, some little progress, but not really a breakthrough. The process is all the same. Now let's move to the age of internet and see what kind of digital transformation is possible, or digital transformation becomes possible now. Let's assume we do have all PCs connected to the internet, and in addition, let's assume what is possible in this epoch of internet, that some kind of ERP is available in company A. Yeah, so we do have an ERP, yeah, the acronym for Enterprise Resource Planning System. So what is this? And SAP is the most and the biggest company delivering and producing and implementing these kind of systems. So what is ERP? An ERP is a system which does not support only one department like marketing or controlling or payment or production, but a system which supports all these departments in one database, in one system. And all the processes, like the one we are seeing here, are supported in here as well. So if you prepare an invoice, you can connect your invoices, you have a template, and you get the data from the customers out of the system directly. Moreover, as all these delivery processes which have happened in the past are stored, you can directly see which products and services have been delivered to company B. And the prices are stored as well. So in principle, the invoice can be completely prepared automatically. Of course, the invoice or the transaction that an invoice has been sent is stored in the ERP as well. Once you receive an information, for example, by the bank, that money has gone in and you receive this information in a digital way, then this transaction, we receive money, the amount of money for which kind of payment, can directly be checked and compared to what is stored in the ERP. And if it fits to the stored invoice, then everything is done automatically. So basically, the complete process on company A's side runs through in a fine way, automatically, without any thing done by people. Only if there is a disturbance, maybe if not enough money has been sent in, or if a certain delay is achieved and you do not want to wait any longer for your money. In these cases, maybe someone has to get into the systems. It gets even more interesting if an ERP is as well on the other side, because now the two machines can interact completely automatically. If ERP B, for company B, receives an invoice, then the invoice includes information about an order number, etc., etc. And as the receiving of this order and this ordering process is a transaction which is stored at company B as well, it can be automatically checked that the service or the product has been fully achieved, quality is okay, and then the price can be paid, which has been agreed on at the very beginning. So receiving, controlling, and paying can be done automatically on the other side as well. So in the end, it is just two ERPs in the two companies which are communicating, and they do have access to all the information required and can handle this automatically. And nowadays, really, in the real world, these systems are set up like that. Of course, you could now argue, should an ERP run all the money? And you can, for example, implement rules like every 10th invoice should be checked in addition by a person, or every payment over a certain limit, let's say above 10,000 euro, should be additionally checked by a person. Those things can easily be implemented. Very important, it is the internet, it is the network which makes the digital transformation really an issue. A standalone computer can help only in certain steps. You can maybe shorten the task of preparing an invoice, but the overall process, the complete process, is maybe more or less unchanged. Having interconnected computers, having networks, it enables systems like ERPs, it enables to interconnect companies, and by this really gain lots of advantages. Let's have a look on the last epoch, which is then the cloud computing. Here some more things could happen. You could put things in the internet. You don't have to take care anymore for the infrastructure, but the main transformation, this really happens in the case of the internet. There have been exercises in former exams where you asked in which epoch you are. If questions like this pop up, check in the text if certain hints are given. For example, is there a standalone or department-only system? For example, a system application supporting marketing, another application supporting payment, but there's no connection in between. Check if there is a connection to the internet and if really it's used not only for browsing and surfing in the internet, but for the processes, for the core processes of a company. Depending on your findings, then decide if you're in the epoch of PC or if you're in the epoch of internet, and so on and so on.